Hi, welcome to Unforgotten Reels, your weekly invitation to experience fear in its most intimate form. This is not about jump scares, it's about what lingers in silence. Our short film for today is entitled The Girl Who Ate Shadows. Come closer. The story's about to begin. Here we go. The town of Glimmer Hollow sat in a hush, like a place paused mid-thought. Its streets twisted through fog, and its trees leaned in close, as if eavesdropping. And in the spaces between all things where the sun couldn't quite reach, she lived. Her name was Elara. She was the kind of girl you didn't notice until you realized you'd been watched, pale as candle wax, barefoot even in snow, with eyes that flickered like unlit matches. No one saw her in the daylight. No one remembered her ever laughing, and yet shadows disappeared wherever she went. A cat's silhouette stretched across a porch, only to dissolve like smoke. The outline of a tree vanishing one limb at a time. Even birds flying overhead would lose their wings mid-flight. They said she was cursed, but that's not quite true. Elara was hungry, and the shadows were just the beginning. Isaac arrived in late autumn, when the wind carried more secrets than leaves. He was curious, too curious, the kind of man who opened doors without knocking. And on his first walk home from school, he passed the old schoolhouse, where something moved just beyond the bricks. She stood there, half submerged in dusk, staring at him like a reflection with no mirror. He waved, but Elara didn't. She just tilted her head, and then she was gone. That night, as Isaac walked beneath the flickering street lamp, he noticed his feet no longer made shadows. He spun slowly, checking the ground. The light was there, but he wasn't. His shadow had vanished. And deep in the woods, something sighed with relief. The town buzzed with whispers, louder than the wind. A young man with no shadow was all it took to rattle a place already clinging to superstition. Windows were shuttered tighter, crosses carved into tree trunks. The mayor held a candlelit meeting. Superstition, he scoffed. Coincidence. But the children didn't play outside anymore, and the dogs howled at nothing. Meanwhile, Elara roamed farther, no longer content with scraps of light. She began to follow people closer. Her fingers reached toward their outlines, pulling, tugging, tasting, and across the town the shadows grew thinner, more brittle, like the edge of a dream before waking. The night after Isaac's shadow vanished, the moon never rose. No clouds, no storm, just black, like someone had stolen the sky. And something told the townsfolk this wasn't the end. It was only the first bite. Elara's home was a skeleton of a cottage, folded into the trees like a forgotten thought. Its windows were boarded, but inside the darkness bloomed. Her room was lined with glass jars. Each one pulsed softly, like something inside was still trying to breathe. Shadows, bottled like preserves, the silhouettes of birds, the outline of a baby's rattle, the dark memory of a scream. She sat cross-legged in the center of it all, hands trembling, eyes wide, and with a slow twist of a lid, she drank a shadow like tea. It slid down her throat like velvet, and still, her stomach ached. Still, she starved, because shadows only fed her body. But lately, something else had begun to ache, something deeper, and that kind of hunger, it only gets worse. Isaac didn't run. Instead, he followed the whispers, back to the old cottage, back to her. He stepped through the doorway, where the light dared not enter, and there she was, hunched in the far corner, swaying like a broken puppet. "I know what you are," he whispered. Her head jerked up, eyes black and glistening. Her face didn't match her age. It had been stretched by too many nights, too many meals. She stepped forward, and the floorboards groaned like they were warning him. Only then did he notice there were two shadows on the wall. One matched her, the other was his, but it didn't belong to him anymore. One by one, shadows peeled off their owners and slithered down storm drains into basements under floorboards. The barber found his reflection weeping. The librarian forgot the alphabet, and the old clock tower ticked backward at noon. Elara didn't hide anymore. She wandered the streets like a storm cloud with feet. Children watched her from windows, but when they blinked, she was gone. Someone lit a fire in the chapel. Someone else locked their doors from the outside. But no one remembered what they were afraid of, because fear, like light, fades. And when it's gone, you don't see what's coming next. Elara passed through the town like a dream no one wanted to remember. And as she walked, shadows leaped from people's heels into her chest. She didn't bite, she breathed them in. And when she opened her mouth to scream, a soundless black fog spilled out, crawling up walls, under doorways. The town's lights failed, one by one, until only Isaac stood under the last remaining lamp. He didn't move, he just watched her come, and when she reached for him, he whispered, "Take it." But she wasn't after his shadow anymore. She wanted something else, and Isaac gave it freely. "Take mine," he said, but she didn't reach for his outline. She touched his forehead and leaned in. "Not your shadow," she murmured, "your memory," and with a breath, it left him. The smell of cinnamon at his mother's table. The time he broke his arm falling from a tree. The first time he'd ever cried from laughter. Gone. He blinked and didn't know who she was, didn't know where he stood, didn't even know his name. But Elara did, and for the first time, she looked full and terribly alone. Morning came like a curtain lifting, the sky blue, birds chirping, flowers awake. The people returned to their routines, cheerful, clean. No one remembered Elara or Isaac, or why their mirrors cracked at strange angles. But late at night, in the quiet of closets or under beds, some children swore they saw a girl, pale, watching, and the ones who saw her couldn't see their shadows anymore. Elara walks now between heartbeats, not in light, not in dark, but in the space just before you blink. She doesn't feed on shadows anymore. She's moved on to thoughts, to dreams, to the pieces of you didn't even know were missing. She is memory unthreaded. She is the girl who eats the part of you that looks back in the mirror. And the worst part, she's still hungry. The end. Some monsters don't want to hurt you. They want to be part of you, to fill the hollowness inside themselves with whatever you're willing to give. And when no one gives freely, they take. Elara wasn't a ghost. She wasn't cursed. She was the result of being forgotten for too long. Sometimes what haunts us isn't darkness. It's what the darkness remembers. This was the girl who ate shadows. Don't forget to give it a like. Subscribe to the channel for more short film like this, and leave a comment. We would love to hear what you think. Thank you for the support.